I've stayed as much focus as possible. I had some sort is like individuals with paranoia, and if there's like some said like people have like a lot to do, there are some types of solutions. Basically, I do had knowledge within me that police officers and green uniform staff had my property during a certain period of time. That certain period of time was prior to the World Cup. I tried to be as much focused as possible. Today I had like someone coming at me to asking me for 1,200 dinars, and I went to and I retrieved it and I called him and I kept on calling him and there was nothing. I always trust like now that if nothing happens it's like for the best. Uh, Apparently, to say the truth, like prior to the World Cup, I had cases which could be stated as hacking, electronic intrusion into property, as well as a lot more. When I reach a certain place, I just face people who forwarded some some case of hatred toward me. Thankfully, I wrote to the Canadian embassy in Stockholm. I wrote them about the conditions of my living, and I stayed at all times at the university. To enter the university, you need a certain card. However, some person have decided to make a bogus excuse against someone who had like some sort of money in coming to him. That bogus excuse has been made basically to open up shops and to feed people and yes, and how much I go there and I speak with them, there's basically nothing of change. And I'm 100 or 300, I'm 1000 sure that all the females that I have spoken with in Sweden are basically shop, basically selling things at the shop. It's like selling things as groceries, as well as uh, as well as university staff, females. I had like a lot of paperworks to do in order to travel to Germany. Then I went and well, I started basically to have like some sort of a normal life. There was like somehow a feeling of security in 2017. Why? Because Sweden was in the United Nations Security Council, and I've been in that town like for 2.5 years. I've started basically to gain some sort of a reputation within the students. Thankfully, I spent a lot of time with Swedish citizens as students, and not the international students. They were like somehow of a special room. I was just putting my headphone and studying, and this has been basically viewed, and this is like the testimony like of a lot of people, of a lot of those Swedes basically. I was just waiting and waiting and waiting, and now it's like I have people committing some type of a harassment, investigating the money or the income that I got. And I'm 100%, I'm kind of sure that the income was basically just funneled through my bank account from the Swedish state. However, the people in here just tell us lies that the type of money making that we do is somehow not illegal, but like it's somehow dangerous. And that if I raise money to treat my medical bills, my future medical bills, no, what do they say? Well, you can just die, wear a hat. This is what they just showcase. It's like you can just die, wear a hat, and wait the day until you die. And we're going to steal all of your money. This is their thinking and this is their psychology. Well, defend yourself. I did. And I've asked basically now, this is basically like a special request. Well, I have a Danish bank. I said that this to a lot of people. Well, you can use all the forces that you have and all the equipments that you have. It's rare to ask to anyone to ask that from Denmark, but yes. And I basically it's like I'm asking like from the Australian authorities like yes, you can just see the can just quantify the amount of crimes that I'm victim of, and I cannot say that because this is because of Theresa May rule. I had my resume, I sent it, I printed out, I put it to companies, I put it to people. Apparently, I just face people who, well, have never been in Britain, but people just come here and attack me. When I sleep, people attack me. They have some sort of, they heard some sort of words and a lot of things. And this is the living that I face. And it's a country. These are basically crime in like normal countries, which are basically punished. And now I just go to the authorities asking them for my money and for my basically for my graduation certificate and more. I wrote to the I wrote to the how to say to the headquarters in Babluat. Said this. I expect to collect things from here. I tell them that what type of work I was doing. Apparently, they attack the individuals who protect somehow child abuse and other things. I don't know. It's like yes, it's like I'm living like everyone in here in a prison. Yes. And then I go to the authorities. Yes, they just say with the laughs, hi, hi, he, he, he. Do you know what happened? And one of them said me is like, you know, your property and your paperwork are with the chief of this police station in here. I went to him and told him give me my documents, but he basically is like geopolitical affairs, foreign policy, and way more affects his judgment because he's from Bristol, England. And they have been doing like this for like kind of an extremely long period of time. Well, it's like okay, I didn't. I spent all of my year studying, and basically, I will forward say this also to Mr. Steinberger Kern. I've spent like an extremely long period of time doing this. When I use that mount, well, this is the information that I have. I had like supervisor from Tunisia, from Tunisian origin, and the examiner from Tunisian origin and the supervisor, basically who kept on making like a lot of delays. They have like some sort of people in here trying basically to feed their lies by saying that resolving a seventh order equation in a country which is Sweden, you know, in a country, and that country is Sweden. Sweden has the capital of Stockholm. Stockholm, there is the Nobel Prize Committee. And you can find people who can argue with those individuals. Yeah, you can. Yes. And then I go and well, I do tell them it's like I wish I was a police officer can just come with me to the postal services and make them like open some sort of an investigation, but like they get money and they do not work. Or to me, it's not that. Yes, and I cannot say like some sort of this or that, but like individuals like just attacking you or attacking me without really reason. And yes, and apparently because of the Nobel Prize of 2018, which means like female about like female mistreatment during war. And apparently, from what I understood, there has like some sort of vacant room where they were basically taking individuals there. Apparently, someone was trying basically to be somehow helpful to me, and they were like in some sort of a capacity hurt. And then I go, and basically, it's like people exist who just attack me. And then I have like some sort of an uncle who people have some sort of how to say. I have like members of this family who has my mother last name and my dad last name, who basically they just attack me through every sense of the letter or through every mean. I do meet them during like the religious festivities, and they just do not say much. And no, I didn't meet the people, and apparently it's like when I reached the levels like okay of getting like a life, they come along and they destroy it. Why? Because they expected me to fly from Switzerland to Algiers during the first opening of my during the opening of the second year basically. Apparently there are like people like from New York or Democrats or who are this who are like North Africans who immigrated to those places in the East Coast, and apparently they showcase some sort not revenge because like I'm 26 years old, I'm 28 years old or 26 years old, not revenge but yeah they're just involved and they behave like mafia basically. And yes, apparently it's not a situation where you can pay off the Justice Department to leave free the people who attacked political appointees in the European Union or in Africa or in Asia. I try to do some sort of work. It's not like sabotage or this or this or that. Apparently, is a testament that the legal and the judicial authorities in the country where those people have left from and they kept on complaining about them are at last absolutely right in the behavior. However, they were like some sort of gaps within the law, and they took advantage of that gap basically to leave, or they moved out illegally or something like that. In my case, there's like a lot of strangeness. Basically, it's like there's like someone who work basically like in the postal services, because the people in the court in Hydra in front told me something or told me this or that and explained the situation. And basically I met the police several times, and apparently during the last day, which was on August 30th 2017, while still in Linköping, I still had the police there. They just spoke with me. I spent there with the immigration services. Then new police officers came along and they told me this is the situation. Well, there's some sort of tactics that these people played. And apparently in 2017, in Sweden, in Nyköping where I was, To me, there was some sort of a huge debate or discussion or some sort of interaction about the movie Gone Girl. However, when they translated into here, it became a different situation, or I just met someone with schizophrenic or mental illness who had done this. Apparently, it's not normal. This is new to me. It's not normal in this region. Like when you ask if they have seen a pretty girl or a pretty woman who came looking for me, they just say no. Apparently, it's allowed for people to have some sort of an illegal seizure of documents. I went to the authorities and I asked them, "Have you?" And I asked like some type of questions. Apparently, when all of my property has found, with while I had also my things with me, apparently they have been robbed on between the night of May 7th to May 8th because there are somehow of mafia people and I have been writing things. Apparently, well, when I had some sort of an interest in Sweden to start a business life or to start a company within the field of environmental engineering and clean tech, and I still had like basically the machine learning. What these people have decided is like to just ruin all of that. And well, this is my I have like a thinking of someone. I have like a thinking. It's like mind thinking of someone who lives like in a developed country. However, I met here individuals who have thoughts of an underdeveloped country. Apparently, there was some sort of postal services and hacking, as well as a lot more, which comes basically. It's not easy to say that it comes from this building, while there is like IT people and hacking and other individuals just around here. Apparently, yes, their action has been illegal. It has been very damaging. During the first day, there have been like a lot of robberies, mafia, a group of people just attacking, seizing the postal services, as well as a lot more. They are youth and they have been doing these crimes, while the other people had some sort of claiming to have some sort of authority to steal money and to take things and to buy cars with them and this and this and that. This is the difference between a civilized society in Europe or in Northern Europe and in Africa. It's like over there, even like these types of crimes do not happen. However, over here, these types of crimes happen a lot. And then there's like this situation because my work has somehow involved the type of geopolitics. People were basically locked up, or like they have basically traveled because this is the thinking. They have basically traveled to the Ruiba military school and they were just stuck there and apparently with all those equipment with a dangerous situation they had nothing to showcase. And apparently I have thought people who commit like the robberies from May 7th to May 8th, someone tell me it's like the wife or this or that and he has a childish provocatory behavior towards someone with business links, with geopolitical links with politicians, as well as a lot more. They have some sort of, they showcase prisoner treatment toward an individuals who have been graduated from university, while they have a complete intolerance to people who commit crimes, people who steal cars and all of this. And apparently it's like yes, and I did say in the past to call the police, to call this. Apparently, even like members of my family is like, well, if they have somehow visited, females have visited them, well, they just, they were just forced marriage or under coercion or a lot more, or they basically had like a baby inside the house and they just transported it along. There's like a lot of theories of how they simply kept out my acquaintances away from me, and it's a matter to be like judge. It's a matter that needs some sort of interference. However, the individuals who has put me in this situation, from his thinking, he has like the potential to be a world class, top 10 state aggressor and terrorist. This is the potential that these individuals who caused this mess have, to be like an extremely dangerous individual. Basically, sometimes like we go to the police station and apparently it's some sort of customs to them, like not to buy equipments to safeguard, because it's like, it's like compared to an engineer, compared to someone who built very large infrastructure, to compared to car makers and car sellers. They have some sort of a psychology that supports industries within the Western countries who make like heavy machinery and those things. Now they favors the engineers who are over there through payments, and they say that they will not. They will only be like. They will only serve the interest of people of North Africa or the youth of this region if they have some sort of the same equal pay in that regard. And basically everything is like somehow of like a chaos situation, and there's like no growth and there's like very little, and apparently it's like when I go to the chief political officer or to his who or this one second to him, like in Daira or like in the federal state, apparently within his belief is that I should not focus on my engineering skills, and that I'm the individuals involved within the Paris climate change and the SDGs and all of those. And the people that they have come is like they're like top tier individuals from respectful institutions within the European Union. Apparently, they have decided to hide that away from me to showcase some sort of perversion and sick behavior and unethical behavior that involves basically somehow a type of money laundering as well as a lot more. And if like I say, like I spent like my first year within like the Australian company, well, I'm still have like missing like the money from the African Cup. Apparently, even like crushing the team and making them win is not enough for these people. The high is like it's like a high level of discrimination that once in the past has been resolved through the Nuremberg court. I keep on repeating myself, but like I have all of this, I travel, and the people and the Europeans who are like in Europe or in Sweden have allowed me to stay. However, they have like some sort of like differentiation basically. It's like individuals, they come to a new country and they just decide about a lot of matters, and they didn't even see that the migration agency have been like run by new people since the introduction of certain basically it's like I think I graduated like in February 2018. The individuals came along here. However, because the psychology of individuals at that time was so much against me, they have been hurt. They're like a group of people that I met in February 2019. Well, they were aware of that because those things have been kept in their lockers. There have been like some sort of new people over there who just see me walking up and down and who are aware of the situation. And it's like an entire mess. It's like the place was normal, and overnight, or like over a period of a month or 2 months, it became like Sin City. And it was like a very nice place in the beginning, basically. And there's like a high level of abnormality. And apparently, well, there was no task from me to receive money from here to here, but apparently there has been like some sort of the rise of some sort of racist groups who I think their stupidity has forced them to send money to this location. And apparently I have seen some sweet looking females, all sweet looking females, and apparently it's like, yes, they kind of like, like if you saw me in the street, you can just leave a word or say something. But apparently it's like, even like in August 2018, it was like the first time I started to speak with the neighbors, and I asked them, have you seen this person? Then I went to the green uniform, have you seen this person? And that was exactly on the 3rd of August 2018, as well as a lot more. Why? Because I called in the phone, and apparently they just hung up. And I hated this about people, and well, I'm the only individuals affected by that, because now they have jobs, they have some sort of thing, they have lost all of the money, and they could have like just continued the phone call when I called prior to the vacation or to the holiday. But apparently there has been like a lot of people who just went out from prison, and they had like a wish to go back to that place. I remember it's like in August 2018. It's like yes, I was well aware. It's like, oh, we got the Holy Grail, and yeah, a lot of bad shit has went on. It's like people is like the most selfish people in the entire universe. It's like they just favor someone whom I do not share the same field of work as his. It's like electricity, hydraulics, uh, yeah, and a lot of things. And apparently, at first and distinctively, I thought about the reason. Apparently, it's like this is the situation. It's like the person with my IQ, the case is like handling back the Pentagon, the US Navy, uh, High Commissioner in the Australian Commissioner. Apparently, they have made some sort of decisions which are somehow in my favor, and apparently there has been some mismatch of IQ, because is to them IQ is like, it's not one punch, but like it's like linear graph. So everyone got involved, and as I said in the past, like yes, it's like it's a breakthrough in the field, the thesis that I proposed and the answers that I have said, which was not present in the past from all the books that I read. It's a new methodology that's not existing in the past, but like apparently like people's like, yeah, they just have to have confirmation of members of my family who know nothing about me. Apparently I didn't tell them anything in July 2017, in July 2014, and the only person that I told almost got my almost got my scholarship cancelled in September 2014 or October 2014.